right, let's play some rippage. Some RPG. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Greyhawk channel, where tonight we bring you the liberation of Geoff. 5 doughty adventurers and their friends seek to liberate their homeland from the evil of the giants. Tonight, I have these amazing human beings with me. Hi, I am Sean. I am your DM, and that's my tweeter right down there. And you can find me there. And let's go around and just say hi to everybody really quick, as we have a very exciting chapter, I think. It's going to happen today. I'm very excited about this. Okay, let's actually end with Britt, because we're going to their hometown. And then, so we'll start with Shauna.
Hi, I'm Shauna, Flanksters on Twitter, and I am playing Lady Malin Arkenwald, human ranger / rogue, who's gonna be happy to see another town possibly being standing, considering her hometown was destroyed in the beginning of the war.
Yeah. I'm very excited. Zippy.
I am Zippy Zippo. I'm playing I was gonna be like, I'm playing like my usual characters, but I'm playing the lovable, and it's like he's not lovable. He's a dick. The total dick that is Colin Thatcher.
Fact. Although more lovable after last session. I think we're seeing an interesting
there was a
character
bond.
arc.
There was a bond. I'm like Rory from Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay. Abby.
Oh my goodness, it's me, Abby, but you don't have to worry about that, because tonight I'm going to be playing the lovely and adorable and the leader of the party, so we're all gonna die. Congratulations, guys. Ellie Humble Bumble, who's a gnome. Druid, that's what she is.
Indeed. 4.
Hello, I'm Thor. I will be playing the Orc Cleric of Luthic, the Cave Mother herself. Rolfomden! The Orc Cleric of Luthic! The dear Mother herself!
That's all you need to know. I'm a greasy orc who casts high-level spells and cannot hit with melee. Despite the fact that I used Throck's very generous character creation to get a giant Slayer axe.
Right, which was super cool. Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy it. And then last but not least, Britt.
Hi, I am Britt, and I am playing Sir Lawrence Andrew Wells, who probably maybe by the end of the campaign will be able to pronounce Rolf his last name. And yeah. After last session, I am just hoping that Lawrence is hanging on. It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Hold on.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
All right.
Humperdinck.
I would be remiss.
Don't you dare.
I won't.
Compare me to such-
Humperdinck. No.
Houdinati.
No. Okay. I would be remiss if I did not thank our amazing sponsors and supporters out there in the wider gaming world, starting with, first of all, you, our Patreon and Twitch subscribers and followers and chatters, and all you amazing people who make this channel possible and who show up game after game to make this chat rocking. Thank you so much for your support. And of course, all of our games are powered by Roll20, the world's leading virtual tabletop. And now the Greyhawk channel is officially supported by Roll20, and you can try it out for free at roll20.net. Okay, so I got my voiceover narration demo today, my official produced one that I drove 8 hours to do, and so I'm feeling a little bit of a narration voice, even though I never talk like this in a real narration.
Like that? Like that?
Yeah. Also, of course, Heroic Maps is our official battle map sponsor. You can check out their library of more than 300 maps on DriveThruRPG, and Tabletop Loot, great purveyors of all sorts of tabletop dice. You can go to tabletoploot.com and enter Greyhawk in the coupon code box and get 15% off your dice order. Our Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers can join us as well in our private Discord server and get coupon codes to RueInc.com and Cantrip Candles. Thanks again for watching. And now, to the show. Okay, so last time on the Liberation of Geoff, we had a lot of heart-to-heart, actually. There was much more talking than there was fighting. I don't actually think there was any fighting.
There was a little bit of fighting. There was a little bit of fighting.
Yeah,
There was fighting
yes, there was a near bloodbath last week.
There was this much fighting.
There was 108 hit points worth of fighting.
Yeah, that's right. That is
Count?
correct. Colin nearly got killed. So why doesn't somebody tell us everything that happened last week?
I think
Well, that could be a very skewed
I know, I'm super excited.
Somebody else talk. I'm good.
here's what happened.
Okay.
Here's what happened.
Oh yeah, I was about to just.
First, we liberated Pregmere Keep, and we got all my orc friends, my tribe, all freed up so they could go into their soccer sports game. And then we decided, let's actually go visit those hunky-dory rebels who are like hiding out and like living in the woods and like saving people every now and then. And well, wouldn't you know it, their leader is a dirty coward. And Colin decided to just straight up, let him know that you're a dirty coward boy.
Yep.
And he didn't take that very well. And so it escalated very quickly. We were apparently supposed to like coordinate our attacks and whatnot, but I don't believe it was the only attack we were coordinating was a +3 sword into Colin's guts. My character Rolf did not like that and tried to very gently move it away from the intended target. Turns out its +3 is very sharp. My fingers got cut off. And then we rolled initiative. And we quickly discovered every combat scenario that we walk into, Throck is not prepared for, because no campaign survives the players.
I love it. I love that you guys.
Players.
No, I love that.
And we fled thanks to Sir Lawrence and a very well-timed. Was it some sort of charm person? I feel like
Calm emotions,
calm
right?
emotions. That's right.
What was it? Calm emotions that worked? Because I had calm emotions and I also had persuasion. I don't remember.
There's a little column A, little column B. There was both magic
Because
and
calm emotions on
rhetorical
Colin,
talking
because
out.
otherwise
Yeah.
Colin was going to fight to the death.
Because our coward had like a forest full of rangers that just pelted Colin
Yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah.
I would like to
Didn't-
say, from the dungeon master's perspective, that a former general who has been fighting in the woods for 3 years never really seemed like a coward to me, and I was
No.
fascinated that that's the way you all took it. Fascinated,
Someone-
but also
he was a
deeply embraced
deserter.
it.
I never said a coward one time.
Now, this is the thing. Colin's backstory coincides very deeply with this character and the action of desertion.
Yeah, no, it's
Yes.
totally fair. Yeah.
Yes,
no,
it is
absolutely.
possible that this character was trying to make up for it by becoming a guerrilla war person. Not a literal gorilla. I would have loved that though.
Go Gorilla Grodd.
We fled, and we decided we're going to go to. I don't know the name of that town, Lawrence. Could you tell us?
Capital of Geoff.
One of those
He's
places?
Gorna.
Gorna.
It's
Gorna.
something about these Geoff people. It's nothing orc related, so I don't think it's very important. We had a lot of heart to heart because we realized we keep getting into trouble and there's nobody there to really stop us from digging ourselves into a pit of initiative. It just keeps happening. So we decided we need to, number one, praise Luthic and go into her home cave and say some dirty, violent blood oaths against our foes, so that the next battle we will be most pleased with, and we will not back down. That was great. I'm very proud of everyone who participated that I had invited, because I know the people I can trust with Luthic's great teachings. However, we decided Eliwick would be best to prove herself as the leader. And as such, she underwent a harrowing flight on the back of Nihilus, who is our Griffin, Collins Griffin.
Nias, not nihilist.
Nihilist.
He's not nihilistic.
I'm sorry. No, but that's why I said that, because nihilistic, Bill.
Colin's nihilistic.
Nice is nothing but a beautiful, fluffy, awesome griffin. It
Because
doesn't deserve
Eliwick
anything bad.
can talk to him, right?
It's you could talk to animals, right?
I can't talk to animals. However, I don't think I've tried to like communicate in that way with Nias.
Let me rephrase that. You can communicate with animals and they can communicate back to you. No?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. You had to learn how to do it without doing that.
I also
And
felt like it'd be like for Colin, I'm not just gonna be like, I'm gonna read your griffin's mind, or I'm gonna. It just seems.
well, we did that, and Eliwick decided, yes, we are a group now. I am going to do my best as leader, and we will see if that's true, and we will see if Lawrence. What is your role in the capital of Geoff? Are you're a noble?
I'm a
Nobleman?
knight.
A knight? My goodness.
A Knight.
A
Born,
knight.
raised, grew up in, was betrothed in, has family in Gorna, the capital of Geoff,
Lives-
which,
In the service of forever.
yes,
As long as the town exists.
Yes.
our party, having faced some internal harrowing adventures after some external harrowing adventures, finds
It was fun.
themselves on the path to a frost giant hole. On their way there, they were asked by High Command to investigate Gorna, where the capital of Geoff, where it is believed there is an active resistance cell in operation that is giving a hard time to the current occupants of the city, and also, if they have the time, check in on Cairnsmore, both of which are on the way to this frost giant keep. Cairnsmore is the home of many a halfling and gnome, and is the home of another one of our characters, Eliwick Humblebumble. So over the course of the next few weeks of our adventure, we will be making our way south into the Steric Mounds. First through Gorna, and then, should the party survive, into Cairnsmore, and then on to the Frost Giant Keep itself. But we find our party now, one day outside of Gorna, high on the hills that lead into the valley of the White Oit River. I wanted to give you guys a day's worth of time to decide what you were going to do prior to approaching the city. So this can be at any point during the day. We meet our party, who is currently, here-ish, overlooking the White Oit Valley, where it meets the Dorna River, I think is what it's called. Three rivers meet at the capital of Geoff, Gorna, a walled city known well to one of our characters. And I will pass it over to our party now, in a meeting, deciding what to do next.
I open with a prayer to Luthic.
Of course.
Thank you, Rolf.
You're welcome.
I said the prayer, and it's done. 20 minutes pass.
So,
Everybody's
well,
like falling asleep a little bit.
you're from Gorna, right? Correct?
Me?
Yes, yes.
Is there a way we can get in without being secret entrances, sewers, anything like that?
There are a few ways. I've gone in and out a few times. I shall consult the DM for specifications on that.
Yeah, you know, the easiest way in is there are 2 sally ports, which the giants can't use because they're too small. There used to be a number, but given and I will describe this more to the party later, but you know that during the siege, lots and lots of bits of the wall were broken down, and they have kind of been roughly rebuilt with mud and brick and things like that, and just kind of patched. And there are 2, at least the last time you were here, there were 2 smaller sally ports, simply doors in the walls that seem to have gone unnoticed by the fire giant and Fomorian occupants of Gorna. The area around it is farmland, and there are numerous human slave gangs that are overseen by Fomorian or hill giant or frost giant overseers that work in the hills surrounding it. It does, beyond that, you haven't done a deep reconnaissance as your last few missions have been get in and get out, right? But those are the basics that you know. There are ways in, and you also remember that the walls themselves weren't particularly heavily guarded. The last time you were there, there were definitely patrols, but you think if you had the opportunity, you probably could have scaled and snuck between sets of guards. When there was one of you. You don't know if, like, a group of you as large as you are now would be able to do that, but...
So... We're basically, like, the scene here is that we're sort of, like, on this kind of ridge overlooking the whole city.
I have a question. Rolf Holmden has a question.
Holmden.
Tell me, how long will it take until we arrive at our destination?
It will take... Oh, DM will tell you that you're about we can say you're about half a day away. Being high up on the hill, you can see the city below you, but you can't... It's far enough away that you can't pick out discrete details until you get closer.
We have how many people in our group? We have 5 of us, plus Harshnag, plus 2 NPCs, right? That's 8.
Yes, and Bacon.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
Bacon is not allowed to eat the hero's feast that I am casting.
Oh.
How dare you? I will give half of my hero's feast to Sir Bacon.
You will receive half of its benefit.
Wow, you're gonna give
You know,
him
narratively, like, yes, technically by the rules, I could be like, yeah, you don't get anything, that's fine, you only ate half of it, you didn't spend a full hour eating stuff, but whatever. It's a small pig, it couldn't eat the whole thing anyways. You get your full...
So,
you get
Thrak,
your
do you
dues.
want me to roll the 2d10 that everybody will get?
Yes, of course.
All right, everybody. You will get 2d10. A total of 19
Rad.
temporary hit points.
Yes.
Temporary hit points and stacking, because I was about 5 seconds away from doing Inspiring Leader, which would also give us temporary hit points. Do they stack?
Temporary hit points do not stack.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Yours
You only
was
take
more.
the higher.
Mine's only 16. So.
Yeah.
Maybe when we take a short rest.
Wait, is it Hero's Feast? Wait, it just says it's... Oh.
Its hit point maximum also increases by 2d10 and
Yeah.
gains the same...
Oh, their
number.
hit point
Anything
maximum
about
also
temporary
increases?
hit
Yeah,
No,
it's
yeah,
not
those aren't
temporary.
temporary hit points. Those aren't temporary hit points. Those are just hit point maximum. For the next
Yeah.
24 hours, your hit points are assumed to be 19 higher, and then your 16 hit points on top of that, Sir Lawrence, would still count, because I'd assumed that a hero's
so
feast...
you can do temporary hit
Yes.
points.
I'd assumed... Yes.
I didn't even
Poorly.
read my own spell.
Well,
I was going to say that. I was like, it's 24 hours of like maximum hit points. That means that if we fall below, like, for example, I'm 131 now. So if we fall below 131, you can heal me back to 131. It's not going to put me
Indeed.
back at 112.
Yeah, and I have
Yes.
healing spells up the wazoo right now. Like I
Yeah.
prepared for this. Okay.
Good.
So mine also can only do up to 6 allies, including me. So it'll be us 5 and Filbert, because that's
Yeah.
my
Oh boy.
like level
Yep.
of priority. Although you know what, Lawrence will not do himself and include Avala in that.
Oh.
That's a very Sir Lawrence move too.
Yeah.
I just realized that. Yeah.
That's
So,
responsibility.
as we are surveying Gorna, I think that Lawrence would have actually taken that moment to explain all that information that Thrak just gave us about how you can get in and out, and and I'm not ready to actually do a speech just yet. Sorry.
That's all right.
It's
You want to save
very-
it to the end?
It's very optimistic and inspiring. and hopefully you all, when he is done talking, feel like, okay, this is something we can do.
Boom.
Hey.
Colin is just leaning up against Nias. He has his dragon chess set out, and you see him whittling a knight piece because he likes to play with Nias. And Nias always thinks the horses are food. So he'll always eat the knight pieces. And he looks over at Ellie and he's like, well, Commander, I could always do a flyover.
I should note, I will give you this now. I was going to wait till you moved a bit closer, but as you guys are looking, and especially you, Colin, because you're a trained flyer, you see flying patrols, like you've run into a couple of times of giants on wyverns,
Yeah.
kind of hovering over the city or over where the slaves are working in the fields. So whether you choose to, I'll leave that into your tactical consideration. Yeah.
Yeah. I can fly over and do recon. This is not my first tango with giants on wyverns.
As I've told you all before, I'm not the best at military tactics or just attack tactics such as this. However, I will suggest, instead of you flying an Amnias, I can become a very small, unassuming bird and do recon if I know what I'm looking for.
That makes sense.
Do you have the stamina to fly all the way over to Gorna?
I'm pretty sure I'll be good. Thank you for your concern, Colin.
Well, she is so significantly smaller, and they probably will not see her, so
The distance will be considerably larger as opposed to a griffin.
At the very least, we can start our march, and she can warn us in case we're headed into anything deadly.
and I'll keep the group hidden while you scout.
All right. Sounds like a good plan. And Colin, I really am sorry that you won't be able to do this recon mission. We need to be stealthy this time. And she's kind of like condescendingly like, it's okay, buddy. It's all right.
I place a hand. I gave you that ring. I can take it away.
She is our commander now. Respect the chain of authority here.
I can also turn into a bird, so I don't really need it, but I respect the thing anyway. And I kind of give him one more pat as I turn into a... Let's do would I know what kind of flying animals would be common
Birds.
around here?
Burbs.
Yeah, you've seen plenty enough birds.
Darling.
Yeah,
Flying
you're
snake.
starling.
Flying snake.
I would say more like, I don't know, a falcon, something with like bigger wingspan,
I was
probably.
about to say I can do a hawk.
Do a hawk.
Yes,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a little starling having to fly all the way to Gorna?
Okay, look. Bert, the bird biologist, is having a hard time not commenting here. Okay.
Okay, do you think a starling could make it all the way over there?
Yeah, but so they have to like it's a lot less effort because like it's a lot more like gliding and they're lighter and
Okay.
the bigger birds they do a lot of like coasting because it's a lot more effort to flappy. It's okay, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Do what you want. Do what you want.
Okay, so you're turning into a hawk. Is that
I'm
correct?
turning into a hawk. Yes.
All right, because hawks. All right, so we'll do you first. Why don't you go ahead? I would imagine I'm going to give you advantage on perception check as you swoop down into the valley, flying quickly over hill and dale. The area around Gorna itself starts relatively hilly and swoops down into what is essentially a river flat that's probably 4 miles wide, 2 on either side of the river. Sitting at the confluence of 2 large rivers and 1 smaller river is Gorna itself, which has a series of bridges in the city. But go ahead and give me a perception check
Right.
with advantage.
I'm just finding the specific stats for my hawk.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was
Zoom
not
height.
prepared for this.
Okay.
You were not muted. I mean, you were muted. I'm sorry.
Oh,
No, you were fine, Ellie. I was telling Britt Gesundheit because Britt was sneezing, and you. Okay.
do 5E. See, I was prepared for the giant scorpion. This I was not prepared for. I got it right here though. Okay, so I have advantage on perception checks.
16.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There you
Passive
go.
perception is 14. So
Okay.
Cool.
There you go. Make a perception check with advantage. With whatever the. This is much more about how much detail you get. You got a 19, rather than whether or not you get any detail. Okay, so 19 is very, very good. As you begin to swoop around the city, first you do a circle around the outside, and you notice that there are numerous groups of human slaves, for lack of a better term, servants of who look like they are the chattel that is used by Fomorians and these fire giants to do farming. The entire area outside the city itself has been turned into one large farm. There aren't any, like, residences out there, but here and there you'll see, like, storehouses and things like that, or tool sheds, or places to repair tools. There's a few stables out there as well. The primary thing you see is that each group of about 10 to 15 humans is guarded by a Fomorian and 2 Verbeg, and there's about 1 fire giant per 40 humans. So there's about 1 fire giant per 4 of those groups, right? So it's like you have a fire giant kind of unit leader, and then 3 or 4 sections of 1 to 2 Fomorians and 1 to 2 Verbig looking over something like 20 humans. And that's, if you circle around, you see that being regularly how things are dispersed. As you begin to get closer into the city, you see the walls themselves, which have been heavily patched and not in any way professionally patched. It's as if when the siege happened, lots of like large sections of the wall were knocked down here and there as breaches were created. But instead of using proper masonry to build them back up, they just took the rubble and mud and clay and built it up in order to create kind of ersatz wall there.
Okay.
The other thing you'll notice is that there are patrols of 5 Verbig along the walls themselves. There's a number of them, every 500 feet or so, which is relatively sparse, and should you be able to time it correctly, you may be able to scale the wall and get up over that way. The odd thing is as you enter the city itself, you know that there are 3 rivers, 2 large ones that come into the city and create this confluence, right?
Yeah.
One half of the city is entirely covered by, like, tarps and rubble, and it looks like someone has just built almost like an above-ground cavern system there between all of the different buildings. Now, you being an expert know that Fomorians prefer to live underground. They're not particularly overly sensitive to light, but it seems like a betting druid would say that this is probably where a bunch of the Fomorians live, right? Because they have created a more comfortable living space for them that's all, covered from sunlight during the day and things like that. The other side, roads have been widened. There's like these rubble-strewn sides of the streets. Some entire blocks have just been wiped away so that the giants have plenty of room to move. And over there, the entire area is dotted with like these smithies, where fire giants seem to be working on different blacksmithing projects. It's hard to tell from up here what they are, but there's obviously a very active metalworking something going on down there. The most telling thing, and draw whatever conclusion you want from this, is that as you sweep around, one of the entrances, let me check my notes to make sure, it looks like there are 2 primary entrances into the city through gates that still work. Gate 1 is on the eastern side, and it seems to be guarded only by Fomorians. The gate on the western side seems to only be guarded by fire giants. And as you fly around inside the city itself, there's about this 3-block wide swath through the center of the city that is just destroyed. It is like, it's just rubble, as if people have been consistently fighting over it for years.
Alright. Interesting. I literally was just writing that down as you said it. So having perceived all that my little hawk eyes can perceive, I'm gonna kind of fly back out of the city to where I see the rest of the party. And I'm going to relay all of that, also saying it seems almost like the Fomorians and the fire giants have their own bases. I'm not sure if they're fighting with each other, but there's a huge part of the city that's just totally rubble.
Can I use my favorite enemy to think of anything, if there's any animosity between Fomorians and fire giants, to make a intelligence at advantage with that?
Yeah. There isn't inherently, but both are fierce competitors for resources, right? And so one of the things with the 17, one of the things that strikes you is it's interesting that they're collaborating in the farming, but that it seems like within the city itself, like there's some sort of like externally there's some sort of truce, but once they go back home, all bets are off. Maybe they're fighting over something, that's for sure.
Yeah. Manny will just say, like, those two groups, the Fomorians and the fire giants, usually don't coexist in the same area. They compete for resources. They have the same like plans. It is unusual that they are working this closely together.
Well, they all clearly hate the good people of Gorna and want to cause destruction.
But introduce something, and that might be something we can work with if we need to.
I wonder if we could cause dissonance between them.
Well, first, to cause dissonance, we have to get in without getting killed, and then we have to talk to them without getting killed, or sneak something in without getting killed.
So our three options are this gate with the fire giants, the gate with the Fomorians, and the ruins section of the city.
Or the Sally ports.
Or the Sally ports.
Yeah.
Sally ports are like, what are they in layman's?
So a Sally port is just a small single door entrance that's like a hole carved in the wall that you could send a group out to sally forth to like raid siege engines.
So it's
and
not
things
like
that.
it's not like a drainage pipe.
No, although there may be drainage pipes. It just wasn't the way that Sir Lawrence happened to go in the last couple of times. Yeah.
Okay, before we do anything else, I need to tell everybody I'm using my channel divinity to heal each of you 10 hit points. Lawrence, I'm giving you 5. 15. I'm giving you 15 because there's 5 of us, so that means there's 10 extra.
Question mark?
Between us. Yes.
Answer question.
Hey, what's your question?
Why are
we
you?
We had a long rest.
Yes, and then I casted Hero's Feast.
But Hero's Feast gives you those hit points, and then you gain that number of hit points.
Oh,
You, like if you're already at max, it sets you to max.
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay. I spent the past like 5 minutes like, oh god, yeah, I could do this. And
Yeah.
prepared.
This isn't like 2E where they probably would have it set your maximum hit points, but if you're not at max, it wouldn't set you to max.
Yeah.
That sounds way too overcomplicated. It would just be simpler just to give you that.
It's what a video game would do.
No, exactly. No, I understand completely. But like, yeah.
Please continue.
Okay.
Maybe that's something. Anything Sir Lawrence can bring up about this? You know the city as well as anyone else here. Which way do you think would be safer?
Which way does Lawrence think would be?
You have all the same information now.
Okay.
It's a judgment call. You know what was the safest way for you to go in by yourself and with maybe one other person before, right? And that was you were able to sneak past on foot the essentially the farming area, right? Where it's not like they're looking for people out there, right? They're obviously overseeing workers and they're not expecting an army to show up tomorrow. Right, and so it's not like they're on super high alert. And then you were able to make your way to the wall, make your way to a sally port, and sneak in and sneak out that way.
Mhm.
Is that the safest way for a large group? That's up to you all.
Yeah. So I think Lawrence will kind of like look slowly and appraisingly at the size of the group. I don't know if the way my squire and I, not Filbert's actually new to this.
Yes. Yes, I've never been here before.
Did the old one die?
Filbert won.
No.
Poor Filbert one.
Just wanted to know. Filbert one, did Filbert one die?
All the squires are Filbert. They had previous names. They were
This one-
I
this
have
one-
previous names for squires, I
This-
promise.
This one's Filbert 32.
I don't remember them right now, but they're written down somewhere.
I have them. I actually know the names of all your squad.
But I don't really know if that's the best course of action for us.
I could fly over the wall.
Also, a reminder, it should be pretty easy to scale the wall if we time it right.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the wall is not very heavily guarded. In fact, what Thrax said, there's only... What was it? I've got
500 feet. There's like 5.
Yeah,
So to
5
give
perfect
you,
control.
let me just run down the defenses as you have seen them. Right. All right. So starting outside and working in, outside concerns would be the flying. It's flights of 3, what look like fire giants on either red or black wyverns. There are, at any time, it appears to be 4 of those somewhere above the city or above the fields, just patrolling. There are groups of 1 fire giant, 2 Fomorians, and 4 Verbeg, overseeing 4 Fomorians and 2, 4, 6, 8 Verbeg, overseeing groups of 40 humans in little groups of 10, right? Once you get to the walls themselves, there are 2 guards at each of the 2 operative doors of the city. One side has 2 fire giants, one side has 2 Fomorians, and then it's safe to assume there are more guards in the 2 towers on either side. There are also patrols of 5 Verbig around the walls. There's probably 10 of them every 500 feet or so, and they're actively moving, right? So they are literally patrolling the walls. And then once you get in, it does seem that there are patrols inside as well, but that seems like a secondary consideration. Those are the primary pieces of defense you see, and you would have to slip by to get in unnoticed.
This Nias and I have done this countless times. We could run and draw the ire of the flight patrols, and that would leave only the giants on the wall. Maybe some of the overseers that are out in the farm. So you wouldn't have their overwatch.
I also am concerned. I know that you're used to this, Colin, and Nias is used to it. About how many sky patrols do we see? Because
there are 4, each containing 3 wyverns being ridden by 3 fire giants.
So 12. There's 12 fire giant riders.
Yeah.
as much as I trust your ability to kick ass and take names,
That
I am a little bit worried.
that's small.
I think
Literally before I came and met with you, I was going up against at least 5 other patrols on top of that.
And
Insight. I'm gonna insight that bullshit.
Maddie's just gonna say, am I correct that you lost most of your people and got that because of that, correct?
No. Storm giants.
Storm giants, fire giants, you go up them by yourself, you're gonna get killed.
I have an insight column at 25. Is he really like?
He's
I've
being
been through this.
he's being completely honest and forthright.
So- I feel like you're all talking, and Lawrence is just kind of like looking at the city with this face of like just like not like just kind of like pessimism, I guess I would say. I don't know if you can have a face of pessimism, but
Yeah.
and then once
Yeah,
there's
you can.
Yeah, you
a
can
break, I don't know if I'm afraid I may have led you all to come here out of selfishness. I don't think today is the day that we're going to be liberating Gorna, and I wonder if going in there with the griffin and it's just going to upset the way that things are in there and get more innocent people killed.
It is your home. We should check it out. We should assist in any way we can, even if it is just bringing news or getting laid the land here.
It's also war.
Making contact.
If they expect to survive war, they're being very optimistic.
I give
That's all
Colin
they
a
have.
very deadpan look, just
It's true.
How is your city doing, Colin?
Exactly.
How is it doing?
I think he's from the Lee.
He's from the Lee. Yeah, you actually had the opportunity to go there had you chosen, but decided not to.
Yeah.
And it's a very small farming town. The Lee is a very
Yeah.
small farming town. Yeah.
So, like, I guess like Colin would have worked at the nearest stable for like the nearest lord, but I don't.
Yeah.
Is there any lords of Lee, or is it just like a little hamlet?
There's no lord in Lee. Lord
Oh,
is
what's the
part of
closest
it.
lord?
Pragmere would have been your lord. That would have been
Okay.
the keep of your lordship. Yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah.
is the
All
Lee
right.
destroyed? Just a little backstory, GM.
I think that can be up to you. We have
think
not
that-
defined within the game state yet. So
I think the Lee is just fine. It's just taxed on resources.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's another. You have noticed that many of the towns, they haven't just slaughtered everyone. They've used the resources of the place for their own means, right? And so they have enslaved people more than they have like murdered everyone and said you don't get to live here anymore.
I think
Yeah, it's
the
probably
Lee
just
is a
dangerous.
refugee town.
Yeah.
So they've been taking a lot of the refugees.
It's definitely being held, right? It's definitely
Yeah.
in enemy territory and held by the bad guys, right? But other than that,
Okay.
yeah.
All right then. What I think that I would prefer, honestly, is to just make sure we do what we're going to do with some manner of stealth. If we can rescue people or get them some news or something, I want to do it quietly.
And that's why I'm suggesting pulling the patrols. I could do a messenger route. Make it look like I'm a messenger flying across. Just flying across Gorma. They'll try to intercept me to intercept the message. They won't be thinking that I am distracting. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're not that smart.
Harshnag will
Sully.
come sit down as well. So he's still at like, chest height.
Yeah.
even so-
Oh, right, I keep forgetting we got a giant with us.
Yeah, and he'll say, of course, I'm not going in there with you. I'm a bit conspicuous, but why don't I watch the young ones? So 5 of you go in. Smaller group, it'll be faster.
Agree. Philbert, what do
Yeah.
you think of staying here with Ivania?
I'd prefer to go in with you, but I'll follow your order, sir.
Why don't you all stay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think Maddie will give about a little pep talk and like we know what to do when people come. I trust you.
I shoot them dead.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah!
Yes, you do.
That is what I do.
You shooting them dead.
Does Philbert get like really like wide-eyed, like whoa
Hello.
at that?
I like her. Looks at Filbert. You, not so much.
I don't care that you don't like me.
That's why I gave you that bow. You know how to use it.
I'll use it well.
Good luck.
You too.
All right.
Our murder child. Our terrifying murder
She's
child.
moving up in the world.
Yeah.
Good.
Murder teen. Murder teen.
Murder teen, yeah.
All
I
right.
feel like as they start walking in, sort of like if this was a movie, like as they start walking in and like the screen fade happens, Lawrence will just say to Colin, "Have you ever considered just, not telling people when you don't like them?"
Well, if I tell them that I don't like them, then they will know that I don't like them, so they won't constantly think maybe he doesn't like me. I'm just being honest. Honesty is the best policy. I think you're a massive prick.
Usually, honesty is the best policy. However, I have found that sometimes subtle hints that you don't like somebody will be better for a person's emotions than just blunt declarations.
That massive prick saved your ass in Pregmere.
This is true. And for that, I thank him. But that doesn't mean that I don't still think he's a prick.
All right.
Lawrence has nothing to say to this. He's not in like banter mode. That was all he could come up with, and he's focused on the town.
Okay. Tell me how you approach. The area within about 2 miles, as a circle around it, as I said, is farmland. There are some copses of trees here and there. There are some buildings here and there, but it is by and large open farming country. It is spring, so the crops have not fully bloomed yet, but they are being actively worked. It is not a wall of people all the way around, but it is populated by people working fields sporadically here and there, mostly within visual distance of each other, sometimes at a few hundred yards, but it's not, there's not no one, but it's not also like a phalanx. Given that sort of terrain, I feel like Maddie, you're the ranger here and probably taking the lead on bringing the people through. How do you want to approach this?
So I'm going to actually use Pass Without a Trace to give me that benefit of there, but we're basically going to just like maybe when Eliwick like circled around, she noticed like which way that these groups are moving.
Yeah.
And we're just going to try and keep a low profile. We're just going to like kind of dart in between like hay bales, any sort of like thing we can possibly, if there's a way that like we can go with the maximum like cover, we'll do it that way, and least amount of like running into patrols.
Yes. Like
it. So this is really hard for Colin because Colin has a giant griffin. So it's like really hard this is why like Colin always says, let me just run decoy, because there's no way for him really to stealth with a giant beast at his side.
However,
that giant beast is a size category smaller than most everything that you're dealing with. So in terms of hiding, I think it's a little bit more. It's a little bit easier than I might think you're thinking, right? Because you've got a bunch of like 30, 40 feet tall things, and you've got essentially a horse-sized beast with you, a little bit larger than a horse. But it's still, it's not a giant. Yeah.
No, I think it's size large.
Yeah, it's large. And then the giants are huge. So if you think about the size difference, right? It'd be like you all hiding from ogres and trolls and things.
It's like us and Ellie.
Small. Yeah, or like you all and Ellie. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. It'll be fine. I can also cast Pass Without Trace, and that works for up to each creature I choose.
We can
30 feet. Yeah.
I think between Maddie and Ellie, we can just constantly have that on, because I think it's just like our new weapons. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
All right. So, given Pass Without a Trace, and I have a DC in mind, given the description of how you're going to move, and also given the way that they are currently aspected. Why doesn't everybody go ahead and give me a stealth check? Maddie, what's your favorite? So it's a 24. Remember to add plus $10.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, 18. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
Well,
38.
38, 31, 22, 18, 24. Cool. Okay. Easily enough. Darting from building to building, from hay bale to hay bale, from copse of trees to shed. Sometimes moving in groups of two, sometimes moving one at a time to dodge patrols. You make your way through the farms. And at one point, there was one quick, close call where Abby gets caught out in the open. Or, I'm sorry, where Eliwick gets caught out in the open between two groups of what looked like a Fomorian and a couple of Verbeeg with some commoners who were moving on to, like, new duties for the day. But she drops to the ground in some high grass where there's kind of a dip and is able to let them pass by before catching up with the rest of the group.
them.
Yeah.
You
I
throw
see.
your
Yeah.
cloak over it, and it looks like a rock.
Yep. Pretty much. You make your way up to the foot of the wall. So there is a significant amount of rubble here. And at the moment, you are unseen by the patrols above, either flying or walking on the walls, or by the farming crews that are out in the fields. What happens next?
I will turn to Lawrence, and I will say very, very quietly, "This is your town and this is your people. Did you have anything specific in mind that you wanted to deal with first?"
How far away are we from, how I had to give you that list of locations?
Yes.
From like the section where I said that Lawrence grew up.
I am bringing up your notes real quick. You all, sadly, I do not have a map of Gorna, right? But I'll just draw it here on the map with us. So essentially you have, kind of river coming in like this, river coming in like this, and river coming in like this, and then Gorna, its walls kind of go like this, right? So it's a relatively irregularly shaped building where the walls were built after the settlement itself was built. You all currently find yourselves here-ish, right? Are you all tracking me on the map? Do you all see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. The primary gates, now that you're here, are what's a visible color? It's not those colors. See that? The primary gates that you know of that are still active are here, and here, and and the side you're on right now. Hang on, let me check my notes to make sure. So that is the northeast on the east. So you are primarily on the Fomorian side right now, which is the side that your family's neighborhood was on. And so like down here is like the no man's land, right? And so this is where like all the rubble you saw was. And then this was the fire giant side. And this was the Fomorian side.
2 Fs.
Yeah, right. And then your family's neighborhood was kind of like here-ish within the city.
I mean, I feel like I definitely would have gone in there at least once, but you know what? Sure.
What's up?
If we could, if we could go to the south a bit, I think, then, and see if there's any pockets of people that we could find, then I at least know where there's probably still some rather sturdy buildings that we could duck into.
Yeah. So the two Sally ports you know about are here on the wall and here on the wall. That one kind of faded in a bit too much in. So they're here.
Right.
And just a reminder, those are big enough for humans to walk through?
Yeah, humans and large creatures, but not huge creatures.
Gotcha.
So it's a good thing we left Harshnag, I guess.
Yeah.
It comes with its own garage.
All right, well, let's start heading south.
Well, we've got to go in first, and head.
Oh yeah, we have to go in. I totally knew that.
So your core trouble at the moment, because I assume what you're telling me is that you want to go south into the Sallyport and then make your way to your neighborhood, correct?
I think so.
That's what it sounded like, right? Because you said you wanted to go to your neighborhood. There are two ways in on this side of the wall, right? There's the Fomorian Gate here, and then the Sallyport, which is here. And so the core issue at the moment for you to get to that Sallyport is to safely and stealthily pass by that guarded gate, right?
There's so much pressure. Okay.
Literally, no, seriously, because I don't have any better ideas. It's actually a relief for me to be like, Lawrence, this is your town. What do you do?
This next town is Gnome Town.
I'm good. If I'm making decisions, I always make the bad decision. So that's what's going to happen. Sorry.
Well, I think the one of the advantages of having, left everyone is that there's only 5 of us, and that I think that we probably can give it a go at getting through the port.
So, you know what I'm going to do? Because you are military trained, and this is your place, there's a couple of... make me an history check with advantage.
Intelstory.
Intelstory.
Of course.
We're still
History
reeled
is
up
an
right now.
intelligence check.
All right.
21.
Oh, nice.
You remember stories
Oh my
of
goodness.
stories of the town being infiltrated that were taught to you during your time. The most successful way that the city was ever infiltrated was actually by water, where when there was essentially a gnomish tax rebellion about 250 years ago, you had a bunch of gnomes build boats, and in the dark of night, take one of the 3 rivers into town silently, just kind of laying low on them, right? And so that was the way you remember that the most people got in the easiest. The Sallyport was absolutely a way that has been used in the past by smarter sorts of like sappers and things to get in and try and collapse the walls, and of course climbing the walls. The other one has been the sewers, although you know that there used to be a sewer grate up here, but it's obviously collapsed, right? And so that was just to give you all the possible entry options to choose from, right? So there's climb over the wall, there's head down to the water and take it in, there's use the Sallyport, or try and walk in through the front gates.
Are there like scattered abandoned boats and stuff by the rivers that we could, or are you saying that we swim in?
That would be your choice. You could go find boats, you could fashion boats. I'm not telling you to do anything.
Okay.
I am giving you the full swath of information and allowing you all to choose.
So, Lawrence,
Okay.
you're thinking about the water? Is that correct?
Maybe. I don't know.
If you're looking for boats, I think I can take care of that. I can cast water. I can make us so we can walk on water, so we won't need the boats.
Oh. Well, that
What are you
changes
thinking?
everything. Because I really think that probably the best way is if we go all the way south and skirt around and go up the water and then go on in that way. But,
I like that.
makes the most sense, I think.
Tremendous. Excellent. I could also cast Control Water. You're not the only fancy lad around here.
All right. So is that what's going to happen? And what time of day do you want to do that? How do you want to sneak around? You're relatively sure if you give yourself enough cover here, you could wait here till night. But it's up to you.
Right.
So we're going. I'm confused. What are we doing again?
We're going to go through, as I understand it, we're going to go through the river,
Okay.
and we're going to go into the area that Lawrence used to live in.
Okay.
I imagine because we might have people there that Lawrence might want to check on.
All right, right on. Okay, so we're going to try to go through the river entrance.
Yes. And we're not going to get caught.
Never.
Absolutely not. Okay, so
That's-
it's during the day right now. So your first choice is, do you want this to happen during the day or at night? The second choice is, do you want to use boats or walk on water?
You're gonna be Jesus.
Will we have to fight to get the boats?
You don't know. It's safe to assume there are probably boats somewhere downriver.
I think we could do the walk on water.
Oh, does the druid know water walking?
I do
Alright.
not.
The ranger knows water walking thing.
Yeah?
Okay, right on.
Do you have enough to get us there?
Yep, it's up to 10 of us, so we are under 10.
Oh, okay then.
Are awesome.
Then yeah, I say go do that. Otherwise, I could do control water.
Mhm.
But we'll do that, and then we'll do it again to get out. If
Yeah.
we get into a fight, we can retreat to the water, and I'll just control water them
Yeah.
away.
Well, yeah, the good thing about water walk is it doesn't require concentration, so if I get hit, everyone just doesn't just
Sploosh.
suddenly just swoosh. Yeah.
Oh no! No,
I
we
mean-
can pretend to drown, and then I'll just
Yeah.
bubble. Oh no!
So, I mean, I think that if we are going very, very carefully and stealthily to, skirt around the entire city, then probably by the time we get there, it'll be rather late at night anyway.
Who are you expecting to find there besides giants, Fomorians?
Well, every time I go into this city, I find at least a few people to take on out.
It seems like there are many, many, many humans.
We saw lots of them coming in.
So that's who's there besides fire giants and warpigs.
I'm not particularly optimistic that I'm going to find any of my specific, people. I've resigned that a long time ago, but everyone in the city is technically my people, so
We help
as
when
a,
we can.
as a knight of Gorna, I think that trying to help.
Well, Madeline, if you will water walk us.
All right, so there's one thing that needs to happen before that. You have to sneak past a gate.
Oh!
Well, okay, well, actually, maybe not. We didn't actually. I want to make sure all of this is very purposeful, because this is a high danger area. You could either go against the flow of the river and come in from the north, and because you're walking on water anyways, you wouldn't pass a gate that way. But you also will be further away from Lawrence's neighborhood, or you pass the gate and come in the way that is closer to Sir Lawrence's neighborhood.
Either way, just a reminder, we still have Pass Without Trace.
Yes.
So
Let's go. Come in from the bottom.
I assume Pass Without a Trace is a thing for you
Yeah.
all now. You have so much use of it at this point that
As long
you,
as
you
one,
will get.
one of
yeah.
us will.
Yeah.
We're so stealthy.
I might
Stealth.
ask after combats because you may
Mhm.
be out of spell slots or something, but other than that, yeah.
I was about to say it lasts for an hour, so
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is pass without a trace concentration?
maybe.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so it would have to switch to where Ellie reapplies it if Madeline is using water walking, because you can't have two concentrations.
Well, it's on me right now.
Actually, water walk is not.
Yeah, Water Walk's not a concentration spell. which is
Oh,
very
I
nice.
thought it was said. Okay.
It is just a do thing. Yeah, which is pretty sweet. Okay, so if you're going past the guard gate, there are 2 active guards and 2 towers with more guards on top of them. How do you want to try and get past that?
Stealth, I feel like is the best way.
It's absolutely stealth, right? But do you want to do it a day, or are you going to wait till night? So first of all, you guys just wanted to do this right away?
Well, if we do it right away, by the time we get to the city, it will be dark. I don't
You're
know if
already
we
at
might-
the city. You're at the walls of the city right now.
Here's what I can do. I can cast blindness and deafness, and I can make them deaf for a little while? Because all they have to do is look down to see us, right?
Yes, but remember also the terrain you're in, it's got slightly rolling, and there's, you could swing out maybe. I'm just looking for a description of how you guys want to try and pass it, right?
I feel like at this point, since we have Pass Without Trace, I don't think it's going to be any easier or harder to get.
Should we hug the wall
at
or?
night. Or at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's
I mean,
just
a
go
night
in.
will help us inside the city too. So we'll do.
As the DM, what I'm telling you is there is a possible combat obstacle in front of you, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Should you approach it poorly, it could turn into a fight that could go poorly, right?
Yes.
So I was just
course.
wondering what your approach was to try and get past this obstacle stealthily, which you have told me is your intent.
The approach is to not go in poorly and enact an encounter. That's the choice.
Why don't
Yes,
you all
we
just
did
make
that
it some
during
stuff?
the
I
days
mean,
of
my thought was that we weren't
Yeah.
gonna go like so close to the wall and then just like try to tiptoe past them, like to like you
Yeah.
know,
Could
not
swing out a little
be
bit.
quite so close and poke from hill to hill, house to house, etc. Like,
Awesome.
Like go
so
geographically
yeah.
like around.
I
Absolutely.
like that. Yes, that's what we do.
I want to run decoy.
Mm.
I know you want to
I'm gonna
run
sit back
decoy,
and wait for you
Colin.
to say that.
You know,
Yeah.
I really want to let Colin spread his wings. He really wants to go have a fly. I feel like let's just let him.
Let him go and let him know he's on his own if.
No,
Thanks,
I
Dad.
know. I'm aware. I'm totally aware of that.
Ellie kind of points a shaking finger and is like, Colin, so help me, Luthic. If you end up dying, I am going to bring you back from the dead myself, and I'm going to strangle you all over. Be careful, idiot.
I pull out a scroll and it says "Do not revivify," and it's signed by the high command of the Geoff army.
Oh, I'll find a way.
It's like basically I don't want my body to be revived with magic because Colin doesn't fuck with magic.
Is that true? Is that a thing that you would have told
I
all
like
of
the
us?
DNR, do not revivify.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
Click that
good to know.
All right. Let him
for a bastard.
go.
Okay.
Be safe.
So,
We also might need to talk, so this is maybe for the best.
Okay.
all right. So, Colin will be taking off on his griffin in order to. So, Colin, let's talk about. There are 4 patrols. They're not all near each other, right?
Hmm.
They keep a smart distance. They're essentially professional soldiers. As fire giants are one of the more militant castes of giant, they know their business. How do you approach creating your distraction with the griffin?
Okay. So there's 2 on the wall, and there's 2 by the gate that they're trying to
Yes.
pass. Okay.
But remember, there's also the flying patrols as well. Yeah.
Okay. Trying to think. I want to pull. Who are they going to encounter first?
Oh, they'll the foot party will definitely only encounter the tower group. They have successfully hidden some. So think about this as 2 groups.
Yeah.
Right? There's tower group, right, which is the 2 dudes in front of the gate and the guys on the towers, right? They are a single threat. So threat number 2 are the 4 patrols flying around up top. Your foot party will definitely only encounter the Fomorians, right? Unless they do something very flashy. That's the job of the flying units does not seem to be to like look directly down at the wall and see what's going on there.
Okay, so I'm going to see if I can pull. If I pull away the Fomorians at the gate, could that give them advantage? Create an advantage for them to stealth past the guys on the top?
It would absolutely do that.
Okay, so Colin is going to flap right in front of the 2 Fomorians because they're thinking that they're dumb, and he's going to raise the heraldry of Geoff, and he's going to kind of prance about trying to get their attention. And when they look as if they're about to give chase, he's going to lift off and fly out towards the fields.
Okay. So the one thing I'd like you to do, as they look at you, and they realize who you are as you're waving this flag, can you make me 2 DC 14 charisma saving throws?
Son of a bitch. Wonderful. Get ready for these low. Oh, oh, oh
First
my
one's
goodness.
good. First one's
Okay.
good.
Oh no!
Oh, second
Wow.
one's not so good. So, would you? First of all, we'll take 68 psychic damage
Oh, okay.
as you
that's fine.
as you suffer from the evil eye.
Okay.
Mm.
So
which is their special ability, and as you look at the Fomorians, you see they're deformed, right? They're a little humpback. They've got these bulbous
Yeah.
things all over them, and you feel your back kind of start to arch, and you feel like you've been put under some sort of curse as your left shoulder starts to come up a little bit, and these boils start to grow on your face.
wonderful.
Thank good he had a good healthy breakfast. Thanks to. Well,
But in any other way, you are able to continue your action as they both evil eye you and then start to charge at you.
Okay. He's going to immediately try to take off and keep distance.
Yeah.
But whenever he starts to gain on them a little bit, he'll probably like pull back a little bit. So, carrot on the stick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So go ahead and make me, for flying, have we said athletics, right? Or animal handling? Hunter.
animal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
animal handling. Go ahead and make me an animal handling check.
Okay. 17.
Okay, so for the time being, and I did not copy this for you earlier. There we go. And this will not count for your athletics checks because or your animal handling check, as you are essentially telling your bird to do something. But when you are dismounted or when you are taking the action, your speed is halved and you have disadvantage on disability checks, saving throws, and attacks based on strength or dexterity.
Okay. And how long does the deform
Long rest.
long rest? Okay.
Yeah, well, you make another saving throw after a long rest.
Okay.
I would also say, even though it doesn't say it here, lesser restoration would probably fix the problem as well.
Okay.
But with a 21 animal handling, you're able to easily, yo-yo these guys. So the question I have for you is, once you get away from the wall a little bit and these guys are chasing you, you find yourself in a new challenge, which is that there are now a number of guards who are guarding the people who notice you, and then one of the flights has noticed you as well, and you are much lower than them as you're playing yo-yo with these guys, right? But it looks like they've come over and started to investigate what the crap is going on. How do you want to handle that?
Ooh, all right. Narratively speaking, without having to roll initiative and fight all these guys,
Yeah.
can we get them into like a Three Stooges bit?
Tell me how you'd like to do that.
Like, I want to weave in between them, and when one raises their like fist or club to swing at him, I move suddenly and have him smash his friend, thus creating kind of like a bar fight of giants.
Yeah, so what I'd like you to do, because I love the cinematic nature of this, right? And I'd rather have you guys be heroes than get bogged down in a big fight, is I want you to make me a series of, and these will be because you're on Nias, these will not have the disadvantage, but give me a series of 3 animal handling checks. Because essentially what you're doing is you're doing a lot of this, right? You're doing evasive maneuvering to try and get them to screw with each other.
Yes. Let me double check something. I want to make sure that there's nothing that is going to impede me mechanic wise. Dex throws, half damage. I'm trying to make sure that there isn't anything that I can do with mounted combatant. Okay, so no. All right, so mounted combatant. Oh no, born in the saddle is a class feature.
Yes.
You have an advantage on saving throws to avoid falling off the mount. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
we don't know if that's a consequence, but it might be. 18 for 1,
Nice. 13.
13, and then okay, 21.
Okay, so go away. Thank you. All right, so he just wants his food. We're close to break, and he knows it is the thing. So you do relatively well. You are going to get hit once, we'll say, in this narrative melee, and that will do. Let's take a look at a fire giant real quick. Yeah, you'll get hit once for And this can either be to you or Nias, your choice for 24 damage. As one of them is able to land a telling blow on you, which is reflected by the 13 that you rolled. But otherwise, you're able to get these guys by the end of it all tangled up, and they're almost fighting each other, and you've been able to break away. And so the last thing that needs to happen for you to get away safely is to tell me how you break off, right? Because I assume your intent isn't to continue fighting them. But now that you've been after these guys for, like, it's been about 10 or 15 minutes at this point, that you've had these guys chasing you and you've been flying around and there's this awesome, like, flight action scene going on, how do you break off?
I break off towards the mountains.
Okay.
So he can get some cover of the mountains, fly up a little bit above, like near the cloud line, I guess, and then try to get his way back towards the city and then fly back down, kind of like dive bomb.
Okay. Going up to the mountains is going to take some time. But what I will have you do, and you can make this with advantage at this point. You've earned the advantage, I think, having like tied them up pretty well. Make one more animal handling check for me with advantage.
Okay.
Nice. Yes. So over this whole thing takes about an hour for you to finally be able to break off, because you chose to go up, and so you were skybound for most of it. It was really about trying to break off visually, and it's not like they don't know how to fly. They're just kind of all pissed at each other at the same time. And so it does take you a little while, but once you get up in the mountains and you like dive into a couple of valleys and hills, they finally lose you, pull off, and head out. But this whole sequence is going to take about an hour, and so it will take, for you to get back, it'll be a grand total of an hour and a half of time. Does all of that make sense?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay. Cool. And having successfully pulled away one of the flying squads and the two Fomorians guarding the gate, our team has advantage on stealth checks to move across the gate, as only the who are actually watching in great amusement at this point, this griffin flying away with all of these people kind of chasing him, watching that happen, you all, the other four of you, have advantage on your stealth checks in order to pass by the gate.
We had a plus 10 anyway.
It's
No,
fine, we
it-
could still mess up.
Yeah, the
Sure.
plus 10 don't mean nothing. You roll a -1.
Or a 0.
Or
20.
Yeah, with the 20, especially because they are, especially because they're distracted, you easily make your way past the guards that are at the gate here, down to the sally port, and then down around to the river. As you're coming around the corner, you hear, well, you all speak giant anyways. Like, fishing is shit this time of year. I just want to get some big-ass fish to eat. You hungry? I just want some fucking fish. No, you want some fish? Yeah, I want some fish. And as the first one of you kind of pokes your head around the corner, you see three Verbeg sitting, the way this works, right, is like you have the wall, right, and then there's kind of this large sort of sluice opening that's been cut, where there's like an undercut where the river is, right, and then there's another half circle above it where the water is allowed to flow through freely, and sitting on the banks of the river there, at the entrance to the city walls, are three Verbeg fishing.
Okay. What? I want to kill.
Can I try to, like... I don't have any spells to calm you down, because I know you want to kill. I'm gonna try to convince you killing is not the best option.
No, but I don't think my hold person will work on them, because the hold person works on humanoids.
They're
they
humanoids.
They're
absolutely
humanoids?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all giant kind of humanoids.
Okay, they are. There's 3 of them, right?
Yeah, essentially assume if it walks on 2 legs, looks like a person in any way, it's a humanoid.
Okay, I can spend a 5th level spell. Oh wait, no, a 4th level spell slot to cast hold person on them, and we can slip by.
And that'll allow you to do 3 targets. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So
they're
you
within
know
30
magically they're absolutely within 30 feet of each other. But you know magically it's not like they stop seeing. Right, so they would still see you at that point.
You have deaf and blind, right?
Yes,
Can you
but
give
they
a-
would know that they just went blind for no
Right.
reason. Daylight.
Well, we have a druid craft to make it smell like somebody farted really bad and make it. Have you ever heard of somebody farting so bad that they've gone blind? I mean,
I have
the
never
verb-
heard of that before.
The Verbig probably haven't heard it either, but it probably happens.
Is this at night?
It is dusk.
Dusk.
Yeah.
I was about to say the most I can do is something to like predict how the weather's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
I could okay. I could use control water to make it so that the water is too choppy for them to fish. I think I can do
I fish on choppy water because that's when all the good catfish are about.
Or I could give them all the fish they could want and they'll leave.
Hmm.
All right.
I mean,
I have.
Or I could summon the Kraken
You could have it dry up.
of the lake.
Because if the water starts to recede, they probably are like, oh well.
All right. So I love you,
granted, I've never
Zippy.
really.
but you are not there right now.
You know what? I like
You have
control
brought up
water.
some ideas, but
Oh, you know what?
What are you doing?
I think I'll do the control water and I'll make it so that it's impossible for them to fish where they are currently.
I was about to say at the same time I'm also gonna do Druidcraft
okay.
to smell like there's skunk because I can do that as long as they're within 30 feet of me.
Does that cost? Okay.
It's just a cantrip.
Wait, you're gonna go up to them as a skunk?
No.
Or you just
So,
No.
make it smell
so
like
druid
skunk?
craft is the prestidigitation for druids.
Yeah.
They can
And
make,
that's a cantrip, right?
yeah, they
Yes.
can make flowers
Do that.
bloom.
I'm not wasting
They-
the fourth
They
level.
can make smells that are harmless. They're harmless smells.
So
So
Rolf is doing the hold person, right? You're doing the 3 hold person. That's what's happening.
I think right now we're just seeing if the skunk.
Okay.
That
If the
works.
odor.
Yeah.
make it smell like one of them. Like, oh, Bert, was that you? No, it's not me. Like it was Phil.
Yeah, you're assuming these guys haven't smelt anything terrible before.
Does the sound of small animals include fish jumping in the water?
Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
I'm going to make it so they hear fish jumping over water, but somewhere that's away from us that they can't see us walk by.
Right
good, yeah.
on. Right
There you
on.
go.
Something
There you
over
go.
there.
I like that. That's an incredibly creative use of it. I like that.
Yay.
That is magical problem solving. Okay, so they just need to make some perception checks.
It's like why I love playing wizards. Prestidigitation can solve a lot of problems.
I never use it as much as I should.
Real good.
I'd like a sack of gold. Prestidigitize a sack of gold. I'm not going to see you in an hour.
Oh yeah, they totally notice. One of them goes, "Oi, down there! You hear that? Sounds like a fish biting." Yeah,
Oh, fish. I love fish.
yeah. Let's go check it out.
Right, let's go.
Right. And as they head off, casting water walk, our party is able to sneak in and make their way into the walls of the capital city of Geoff, Gorna. And here is where we will take our break and be right back in just a little bit. Once I get the stuff up here, I'll do that thing. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. So keep joining us for the liberation of Geoff in the capital of Geoff. See you soon. Okay, we're out. Okay, we're coming back in. Okay, we're coming. I promise. We're here. We're back. There it is. Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to The Liberation of Geoff here on the Greyhawk channel. Our party actually has an interesting question before them. They are about to walk on water into the capital city of Geoff, Gorna. However, one of their party is about 45 minutes away at the moment. They don't know how far away it is. They did see him fly off. It was easy enough to see a large griffin with a rider on its back, who, by the way, to the four of you, looked a little weird. He wasn't riding in his normal, form. He seemed a little, hunched over or something as he flew off. Fly off south into the mountains.
I look like what is it, Ube or Uve from The Witcher 3?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't think
a
you look
little
that
bit.
bad. I don't think you look
No,
that
yeah.
bad.
It is not that bad, although that guy breaks my heart. Every time I'm like, oh. Okay. Anyways, yeah. But you saw Colin fly off with his patrol of 3 griffins going after, or I'm sorry, 3 wyverns with fire giant riders going after him. You find yourself now at the precipice of entering Gorna through the waterway. What do you do?
That idiot do. Why is he running to the mountains? He's not flying, right?
I start splashing. Go.
If worse than the worst, he can go to our Harshnag. He knows where that is. He said he can take care of himself.
Fine.
It's true.
Safe. Sorry. I'm more used to being off the battlefield. It's not on it. It's definitely a different perspective. Okay, I'm ready.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go.
So our party, using water walk, passes underneath the walls. There's a slight echo from the water around them as it ripples in the dusk. They make their way through about 15 feet of Gorna's outer wall, and they are visited with a sight of utter destruction. The area in which you are cuts through this swath of blocks that seems to have been consistently fought over for the last maybe even 3 years. If you've seen those pictures of bombed out cities in World War II, where it's just a corner of a building here with piles of rubble, and then half a building over here with a pile of rubble, right? That is the site that visits you. The river itself here is choked up in places and has to flow over what look like additional piles of building that have fallen in. There's furniture laying in a really weird scene. Somehow, on the second floor of a building off to your right, just off the river, there's a perfectly set table, as if whatever magics destroyed that building somehow forgot to destroy the china, destroy the crystal, or rip the tablecloth that was just sitting on this perfectly set table. But everywhere around you is destruction.
As we continue in, I'm wondering if Lawrence can be sort of every now and then trying to look around for signs of recently scrawled or written symbols of Gorna or anything like that to show if there's any sign of human sort of rebellion, where they are signifying to any of them where to go and that sort of thing.
Oh, like thief camp markings?
Yeah, but things that only Gorna.
Yeah, the 2 fingers in Hunger Games, symbols of the resistance. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and make me an investigation check.
I didn't mean to do that with advantage, but yeah.
No, it's fine. You rolled a 21. We're good to go. There was a play that was incredibly famous about 10 years ago that everybody who had any kind of money in the city, and I mean everybody knew it, it somehow captured the cultural zeitgeist. It was about this young knight and their love for this maiden, except the twist was the maiden was a guy and the young knight was a girl, and it was one of the first times in the city that these sort of gender roles have been flipped on their head for a moment, but everybody just kind of just took it to themselves and just like loved this sort of like weird twist of a story. Huh? Oh, 12th Night? Okay. Yeah, a little bit 12th Night. And the symbol of the house of the Lady Knight was it was a sword and a rose. And you see almost as you begin scrabbling up the side of the water and into an area between two broken buildings, you see someone has just laid on the ground, and it may be nothing, but someone has laid on the ground a board almost in the shape of a sword with another smaller piece of wood crossing, and then behind it they've placed this almost flower-like shape of rocks. It could be just a trick of fate that these things just landed like this, but it strikes you as something that only people here would know, and something that gave people hope when you were younger.
Lawrence, as everyone else is scrambling up to get out of the water and stuff, is going to take his rapier and just slice off a very small section of his green, like sort of breech, I don't know, pants. Fantasy pants.
Yeah.
Like the very
Fanta
bottom.
pants. Yeah.
Fanta pants. And because they're like the color of like the knighthood. And just like tie it very casually to a nearby, but not in that mess, just a nearby little piece of jutting out wood.
Okay. Duly
As
noted.
everyone else is coming out.
Awesome. So the next challenge that you all have to kind of surmount is how do you get from where you are within these rubbles? And actually, everybody, Malcolm, what's your passive perception?
Oh, passive perception is 20.
Okay, I would imagine
My-
you have the highest passive perception of the team.
Hold, don't you? Hey, I will compete.
Wisdom.
15.
I got more.
I'll say that's fair. Totally fair.
Okay. So, Madeline, about 3 blocks to your north, further upriver or downriver from you, you do hear a skirmish.
Some sort of fighting up there down the street, if you watch. Might be people, might be... How loud is it? Is it like... Is this like giants on giants loud, or is
So
it like...
it's hard to tell. It's muffled,
Okay.
Partially because there's like a body of water next to you, and it's like echoing off all the... All you can really tell at this point is a few blocks, like city blocks up from you. Somebody's fighting somebody.
This near the no man's land where everything's just rubble and destroyed.
Mhm.
They kind of lean in. Do you think it might be like a giant in a other
The Verbigs?
Yes,
The
Ver-
Fomorians.
Fomorians, that's what it was, because
Yeah.
Verbigs don't have a problem. Fomorian.
Oh, they seem to be
Fire.
working with both sides equally.
It could be that, or it could also be people, residents that got unlucky or are trying to maybe secure this block. Do you think we should check it out?
Well, yes!
Okay, quietly though. We don't want the entire no man's land to know we're here, unless...
Dissolves just like, "Arrgh!"
If you say so.
Okay. No need for a stealth check here, as they are fighting, and you have passed without a trace, so you will roll at least a 10. As you make your way up, you're kind of scrabbling up and around these pieces of, like, destroyed house and, like, crawling over a window here that's now on the first floor because it's just piles of destruction around you. You make your way to kind of this corner of the building, and as you poke your head around, you see 4 fire giants fighting 6 Fomorians in what looks like a skirmish over 4 civilians, 4 humans, who are sitting off tied to one side.
Oh, sorry.
As if they had been captured.
Yes.
I need to read my description for calm emotions real quick.
It won't pull people out of a full-on mid-combat fight.
Yeah.
Melee!
Now,
Fine.
how far away are the citizens that are tied up? Like-
I mean, if somebody swings poorly, one of them could lose a head.
Okay, so
They're close.
Really close to the...
Yeah.
Last time we fought fire giants, it was rough.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there's any way we can get these people away from the fight. Let me just look real quick.
No, I have no spells for this.
How much rubble is in between where? How much cover is between where the four captives are and us?
Actually, so you're looking for a good route to get to them? Is that your intent?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make an investigation check.
I appear to be having trouble with the roll 20 at this moment. Sorry, let me
Want
just
to try and
reload.
make a
Oh, yeah, mine's disconnected. It was doing this to me last night too.
Mhm.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Mine has not disconnected.
It's probably Roll20 server.
So they
Yeah, the
had
server.
one of their shards was acting funky yesterday, but we should
It
all
just
be on
happened
the
to me
same
too, so-
Uh-oh. Dear Roll20. Remember, we're supported by Roll20, and they are normally an amazing platform, but sometimes even the best platforms have a little hiccup. That's the 21st century for you. Let me see if I can make a roll, and it doesn't disconnect. We'll find out.
Okay.
Investigation.
I don't even know where my dice
I can,
are.
and I
do
rolled
have-
a 20. My
Sweet.
connection to the server has been interrupted. Anything you do right now
Said
will...
that, yeah.
Okay.
I have my physical. I have
Interesting.
my physical stuff here. So
Yeah, same.
You rolled a 20.
all right.
So you see a way that, should you be stealthy enough, you are able to weave up to them, probably without being seen.
Okay. I'll tell Ellie and the rest of them. All right, I think while they're occupied, I can summon fog, get to them, pull them out, and then sneak back without seeing any of them notice. I'm hoping that the other two will notice that the other side is doing it, maybe. And maybe the loss of these captives will make them even more angry at each other.
Because they weren't watching,
Mhm.
checking, yeah.
So I will do that.
I wish I had like some kind of blessing or something to give you, but I don't think I do. Like, good job.
Oh, I can't access my character sheet. Oh no.
I don't have my stuff. I think so.
I already have mine
Uh-oh.
up, so that's nice.
Oh,
Mhm.
I'm going to pull up all your character sheets while I can still access them.
Okay, well,
Um,
I have D&D Beyond,
I-
so I can see some
Yeah,
of
I don't
them.
have guidance
Um,
prepared anyways, so I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I have
Let's
the. I
say,
have
should
the.
I go grab some dice?
I
real
have my.
quick?
but,
Oh,
um,
are we just going to old school this? I love it if we are.
Let's-
Yeah, I
let's do
haven't
this.
found my old.
Let's
Because all my stuff is on D&D Beyond, so
Yeah, let's go grab some dice.
oh, but what dice match?
I have to do-
yours?
That means I gotta do math. Math with like all the powers. All right, let's see. I don't know
Today's
if I'm-
DMing is brought to you by Wormwood Gaming. Wormwood Gaming, your place for fun.
I don't know if my mouse guard dice will cut it.
They're only D6s, so maybe not. This is how we do, people. We roleplay on the fly. Okay, this is weird.
good old tabletop loot dice. Of
There we go.
this color.
I also have
Yes.
tabletop loot dice. Wait, which ones are you using?
I'm using the Starburst ones.
Okay, because I'm using Atomic Cinnamon, which is very similar.
Yeah, this one looks like a little fire.
I
Like
got my
fireballs.
I've
and
got
stuff.
golden BBs.
metal ones.
I also have my my Witcher D10, but like I don't have anything that uses a D10 other than my hit dice.
Hmm.
Kind of goes with my hat a little bit.
Right on.
Cyan. Oh, we appear to also be reconnected.
Oh, rad. Good.
So
We got
after
so
all that,
excited.
Excellent, because
Apologize.
I would hate to go into a combat and have to do math on
Yeah.
normally,
oh my god, yeah.
especially with all the modifiers I have. And it's like I gotta.
but we're back, and everything seems to work, at least for me now.
There we go. Yep, character sheets are up. Character sheets are up.
Cool.
Really?
Bad.
After all that, I got to
Well, we have
use my dice because I don't have a live roll game right now.
It does seem like it's still chugging a little bit,
Yeah.
so keep
If
your
we
dice
need them.
handy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just also at least have my character sheet up, so that's good.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah. Is it working for you, Britt?
It is.
yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So
Cloud is.
it sounds like Madeline is attempting to sneak up to the four kind of so the way they're kind of tied up is kind of in this like weird 4-pack where
Mhm.
they're tied together at the wrists.
Mhm.
So that they can't like get away or coordinate easily.
Yeah.
And it also seems to be a really handy way for a giant to just go boop, boop, and pick them up should he so choose.
yeah.
Before Madeline scurries away, Lawrence is going to just look her dead in the eye. Lady Madeline, out of everyone on this mission, it is very clear that you are perhaps the most competent of all of us, if not the most competent member of the Geoffian forces. I don't have anything better to say other than that I trust you with my people's lives implicitly, and thank you.
Yep. She'll just salute back to him, like,
Seconded.
your people.
Inspirational.
Yes.
Oh, your inspiration.
The receiving an inspiration.
Receiving an evisceration.
It's inspiration. Because I've always I played like bards like 3 or 4 times in 3 or 4 games, so it's like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not doing a singy bard. I'm doing a
No.
combat talkie bard. So.
No, don't worry. I do that too.
Guidance.
All right. So
Well, that was a D8.
D4
'cause
now.
I'm-
D8 and
So you have a
Guider.
D4 and a
D4.
D8.
yeah.
Yay, collect them all.
Yay! Okay.
right, I think I-
Lovely.
All right. Stealth check.
Yes, please have a stealth check for me. Yes, please have
Alright.
check.
Stealth
Stealth.
check. All right. Stealth
Tired.
plus the 10.
Yeah, so
Alright.
you're fine. You make your way up there. They're in the middle of combat. You dodge in and out, and you kind of like. Essentially, it's like running this really weird maze where sometimes you have to duck down to get like behind one piece of rubble and then kind of turn a quick corner to like take care of another piece of cover, but you end up being on the other side of a pile of rubble from them, where should you want to, you can climb over and kind of make contact.
Mm-hmm. All right. She'll go up to, I guess, the first one that she finds, and that she will. Wait, just 1 second. Sorry. Here's my. She'll just say, "I'm with Sir Wells of the Geoff military. Just quiet, come with me. This way." Yep. She'll just kind of like she has a little she'll use like the tip of her arrowhead to just like slice those things real fast.
The other thing is, now that you're close to them, you notice that 2 of them have these strange mutations about them.
Mhm.
That they have like in the same way that I described to Colin, where their body seems to have been twisted, right? Like one of their hands is kind of balled up and turned. Another one
Yeah.
of them has like this large growth over their eye.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they'll stay quiet. They
Yeah,
look
'cause I
surprised, but they'll.
I think this is like the second time we've seen like evil eye. I think someone else got hit by it before. So
It was delicious.
yes. So it's like but no, it's Fomorian like nonsense.
Yeah,
So,
it is a
yep,
Fomorian. It is a known Fomorian trait. Yeah.
So I'll kind of usher them like through the fog back
Okay.
to the party.
And they make it back and they're like, "Oh my god, who are you? Thank you. We thought we were gonna get killed."
Not yet. Not if we succeed.
I don't have half orc. Who are you people?
I'm not a half orc. My blood is pure.
A whole orc. Who are you people?
I am a pure born of Ludwig. You will receive her blessings.
And I will No, I'm gonna hold on to remove curse. They don't need it right now.
I was about to say, does lesser restoration do anything?
Yeah, lesser restoration you believe would fix them.
Let's see.
But-
But
Oh, I could do lesser restoration too. That's easy.
it is.
It's
Yeah,
easier. But let's not do it yet, because it. Wait, do they have to?
I can totally do it right now.
Okay, fine, you do it. And I go to Lawrence and say, "Do you know any of these men? And possibly."
How many?
It's one female half elf, 2 female humans, and 1 male human.
All
Kind
together,
of
or
dressed
those
in
with
rags. Those are the 4 who you
with the
just
mutations?
rescued. Only 2. The female half elf and the male human have the mutation.
Gotcha. I was just
Um,
wondering how many times I had to cast it.
Yeah.
Because if.
Oh no, not that.
Okay.
Nice.
And you see the eye kind of naturally heal back into itself, and the person kind of regains their upright stance, and their hand comes back, and they're like, thank you so much.
So Lawrence will try to quietly because they're fighting.
Yeah.
I am Sir Lawrence Andrew Wells, and these are my compatriots. We are here to liberate as many people from the city as possible. How many are nearby?
Hundreds, maybe thousands of people live everywhere in here. They
Who's in
sweep us up
charge?
to do
If you
work.
know.
This is really dangerous. Can we not talk here? Can we before they come back and get us?
Let's
Yes.
go. Let's leave, please.
We have a hole near here that we can go into.
A hole.
Thank you. Yes.
All right, let's go as quickly as possible.
And the elven female, whose name is Halula, actually, although you haven't gotten that yet. The elven female, kind of leads the group and is quietly moves between these 2 pieces of broken building and then scrabbles over another one. And then as you come around, you realize there's kind of a blind hole that can only really be seen if you come right up on it, just because it's nestled into this one corner of a building with this pile of rubble on the other side of it, and it looks like they have created a warren, for lack of a better term, where they've created a place to live, and they go, come in here.
Go.
And as they take you inside, you find built into the carved out of the walls, 4 beds on either side, and then a single fireplace in the center that is currently not lit, and some homemade thatch weaved out of just found materials, just colorful as all heck. Some of it looks like it was from fancy gowns, some of it looks like it was from tablecloth or linens or things like that. These blankets that are just roughly, very thick, weaved roughly together, as if they've just kind of tried to scavenge things to make for themselves. Please sit. We're safe here. They're not going to see us.
Impressive.
Well done.
So we're here to spread news about the resistance efforts and get information from you all that are still within the city, and to attempt to ferry as many of you out that are interested in leaving as possible.
Are there more of you?
There are a few more, yes. Lawrence gently lies-ish.
Hi. I'm Halula. That's Roderick, my partner. That's Hallie, my partner, and that's Leona, my partner. We're a unit together. Why did you come here?
Because we're part of a bigger resistance effort that is trying to liberate Geoff. There are many of us. We are taking strategic places and gathering allies, and we are going to take this city and this kingdom back.
So there's an army outside?
Huh? No.
Oh.
Sorry.
Of course, there's an army outside. Colin's on his way back.
Dear Lord.
A one-man army.
Right now, Geoff's forces are spread very thin. There's such very competent individuals such as ourselves are being organized to assert chaos within these formidable ranks that are currently giant-based.
Well, this is Gorna. You're in the center of the chaos already. You're already fighting each other here. Yeah. On one side, you've got the Fomorians who think they're in charge. On the other side, you have the Fire Giants who think they're in charge. And, well, they sometimes will scoop us up and do slavery. Or slavery. And sometimes they'll scoop us up and have us do work for them. And some of us live in camps. Most of us just fucking live in holes.
It's not easy to escape, is it?
There's no way to escape.
Okay.
There are ways to escape. We can help you.
Can you tell us?
Who's the leader of the Fire Giants? Do you know their name?
I don't, but I mean, maybe one of the... There's people who are trying to fight against them and not doing that great of a job. They may know more than we do. We're just trying to survive.
Okay.
Well, where are they?
I can take you to a doctor who might know how to find them.
Sounds good. Can you also tell us anything about how, if the Fomorians and the Fire Giants are fighting, is there any organization as to you good people, how they are spread out, or how anything works? Is there any kind of organization, or is it just chaos?
No, so about, I don't know how many, but a large number of the residents are in camps around town, a work camp. Where they are penned in at night and are taken out to the fields during the day, but they don't try to sweep everybody up. I don't think they could. They just, anytime they happen to find people like us, we were just out trying to get some fish and maybe find some extra stuff to make some more bedding. Lola over there's expecting, and we just thought. And then they picked us up, and they were going to take us to a work camp. And then the Fire Giant showed up, and they were like, we're going to take them to one of our work camps, and you can't have them. And then they started fighting each other. And they said we were in their territory, and then the Fomorians said we were in their territory, and then they yeah.
Interesting, Lawrence. Could I speak with you?
Yes.
What is the plan here? We intending to take advantage?
Oh no!
Oh no!
What is the plan here? Too much pressure.
So I'll just ask. So these camps, it's either the Fire Giants or Fomorians. There's no combined. So one is run by the other. One is run by the other, right? Correct.
Or at the very least, they seem very possessive over the people who live here.
Yeah, they treat us as a resource, right? Like, on the one hand, like when we're out there, they all work together because everybody needs to eat. But when they're in here, everything's up for grabs. Everything is honored to be counted, and so, some little prize to have that scores a point on the other guy.
You know anything about the security at night, especially within the pens? Are they guarded?
Oh, the pens are definitely guarded, and there's more than one. It's not like it's just a slave pen. It's that there are multiple camps on either side.
All right. Why don't we go to this? Take us to this doctor, and we can maybe figure out something we can do here, if it's possible.
As we're waiting for Britt to come back, I'm going to quickly do a quick fix on these cameras, and we're going to cut over to Colin, who is now just reapproaching the city, about 5 minutes out of it, and interested in how you... What's your deal? You are pretty well cut off from your team at this point. Oop, I just moved the whole overlay. Like you do. I know. You're pretty well essentially cut off from your team. So how do you want to try and find them? How do you want to try and get into the city? What's your plan?
Is there anywhere on the wall that isn't guarded? Like if I were to fly over the wall.
So the way essentially, you know what I bet happened? I bet their internet went out from the windstorms.
Yeah.
Oh god.
That-
Oh no.
I
Yeah,
literally
I
just
figured.
put that in the Discord.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, it's not that far.
And then this.
Okay.
All right, I'm just doing the last of the cameras here, real quick. So
Okay.
there we go. Okay. So hopefully they'll make it back. If not, we love them dearly. We may cut it short because I think we'll get Colin back into the action, but we may cut it short because I feel like Lawrence is pretty critical to this in
Yes.
I
wouldn't
his
wanna-
own home city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's make a plan because I want to make sure that we have fair time. Let's get Colin back connected at least for the rest of the storyline. And if Britt isn't back by then, we'll call it. If they're back, we'll continue on to our normal stop time. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay. Cool. All right. So Colin, you are looking for a place that is unguarded. So essentially the way it works is there are patrols of 5 Verbig every 500 to 600 feet apart on the outside of that wall that you see. They are actively patrolling around, but they're not in... There are times when they're not in direct visual contact with each other.
Okay.
It's a pretty sparse guard up top.
He's gonna try to wait for there to be an advantageous opening so he could right in over the wall kind of
Okay.
deal. He's gonna tell Nias not to flap. Maybe he makes less noise. Maybe if he brings his wings in a little bit so he more kind of just rockets in instead of
Yeah, like there's a dive bomb where you...
yeah. You know, so he's trying to do it stealthfully where you don't hear the resistance of the wind. I don't even know if they're that smart to think of like what's that? What sounds like somebody trying to go through on the wind.
Yeah.
Kind of. So.
Okay, so this is about timing. And I'm trying to think of what the appropriate check would be. I don't even think it's animal handling. It might be. But it's really about timing your shot, right? And making sure you get it at just exactly the right time. I don't know, what do y'all think? What's a good check for that?
I'm saying animal handling because you have to tell Nias when the right time to furl his wings, get up in there kind of deal. Because it's mainly Nias. He's doing most of the work. It's the
You're just
timing.
giving him the order.
Yeah.
So I think it's 2 tests, right? I think we start with a perception test.
Target.
Right?
No, that's not the words. No, don't say that.
Yeah, don't say that. This is the moment we need to go, and then it's the animal handling test to get Nice to do it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me double check on that evil eye. Okay, so I have disadvantage on ability checks, saving throws based on strength and dex. Okay.
Yeah, so for your perception stuff, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. Animal handling is a wisdom. Okay, as well. Sweet. Perception with a 14.
Yeah, that's going to set your DC for the animal handling test,
Okay.
which is currently at a 17.
And okay.
All right. So here's what happens. It's not like they're going to be able to intercept you, right? But essentially, you time it so you see what you failed to essentially what you failed to notice, and then what you failed to, and then what Nias failed to compensate for is that there's, as you see, there's like these turns in the wall, right? And so one of the Verbig patrols is in a blind spot, and just as you're diving over and into the city, you see that Verbig patrol come around, and they've obviously spotted you. And they can't engage, you're too fast and you're moving too quickly. And so you're able to get back into the city, but you know you've been seen, and you know that will probably pose a problem in terms of security moving forward. And like alert level within the city.
So if the alert level was, let's say, we haven't alerted it. Well, we have alerted somebody. That
There's been some, yeah. So
if we arrived, the alert was at a 0, me causing the brawl puts it like at a 2. What would this would be at?
So you guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, sneaking through the farms, you were at a 0. Getting up to the wall, you were at a 0. Moving, getting the attention of the guards and them chasing you off, it peaked for a minute at about 6 as they're like, oh god, an evil scout! And then you went away and it went back down to like a 3. Them
Okay.
seeing you here, at some point, they're all going to report up. And
Yeah.
it'll probably be like on a scale of 1 to 10, they're probably to 5 by the time this is all said and done, right?
Okay. So, so there was Lawrence did say stuff about going back to where he grew up in the city. And he kind of described this where it is in the city.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, so that's what Colin is going to be making his way. He doesn't know where they went. He just knows that at some point they're going to end up in that part of the city.
Yes.
So he's just going to get on nice.
All right, there, buddy. Let's go. Let's go find our friends.
Nice kind of looks up at you like, what the? Yeah!
I feel like he looks like that one guy from the Goonies.
Yeah, a little bit, not maybe that bad, but pretty bad. Yeah. And you sweep over and you make your way down in. Are you gonna land and like move on foot, or are you gonna try and fly? So the difficulty is you were on the Fomorian side. The Fomorian side is all covered, right? They've built all these like coverings over the cities and things like that, so they can keep it nice and dark and warm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we would land on a roof and then kind of judge it from there. Does it look like there's going to be more eyes on you if you kind of run from rooftop to rooftop?
It does, because they're raised, and you know that at least one of the very big patrols is now looking in, scanning for you.
Okay, so he's going to actually just take down to the streets.
Okay.
And then ride Nias as if he was a horse.
Okay. So interestingly, as you get down, it's weird because you suddenly feel like you're in some sort of underground city, for lack of a better term, except that large parts of it have been carved open extra large, where there used to be like multiple floors to this building. Maybe it was a 4-story building. Now it's only a 2-story building. And like exterior steps have been piled up so like a Fomorian could walk up to the 2nd floor. The whole area has been like changed into this almost organic looking warren of for Fomorians, and it's got an almost unearthly feel to it when you're down here. All the echoes seem to be a little bit louder. All the shadows feel a little bit darker. And they have families here. As you're riding, it doesn't seem at first that a lot of people have noticed you. But you pass by one of the buildings and there's like baby Fomorians and like mommy and daddy Fomorian up in there, like eating what might be a person, who knows. But definitely eating some sort of meat with some sort of grown thing next to it.
Oh, that's not even good. That's not good at all.
As you come up to one of the intersections, you realize there's a patrol coming from the other direction. Like you're coming to a T intersection. As you come up to the corner, before they see you, you have a passive perception of 15?
Colin has a passive perception of 15. Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
You will see them then, because their passive perception's lower than yours. You will be able to see them and take a quick step back before this patrol of 2 Fomorians and 2 Verbig is heading down the road. How do you want to deal with that?
No, jeez. I have no idea.
Let's see. How are we going to deal with it? Is it a closed alleyway?
No, you're essentially at a 4-way intersection.
Okay, so if I went around the other side of the house or the building,
Yeah.
it would be so he's just going to do that. He's going to go. If they're coming down, if you're looking top down, if they're coming down the right side, Colin is going to go run around to the left side.
Okay. as you do, as you duck into this alley around the building, I'm bringing up my note on it. 1 second, sorry. As you come around, you hear this, and there's these two little human kids, who are like all dirt covered, and they've got just like rags that they're wearing. They kind of look up at you, and they're like, "Who are you?"
My name is Colin Thatcher. I am a great Griffin Knight of Geoff.
Oh, one of the
Fear not,
Fomorians
little
got you,
kids.
huh?
What?
One of the Fomorians got your face.
What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're saying. And I look and I catch my reflection in the mirror.
There's like a puddle of water somewhere or something. Yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch. And he turns and he looks at the Fomorians that are patrolling.
Yeah.
So, obviously, if I kill a Fomorian, the curse will be broken.
No, that's not how that works. We should take you to see the doctor. I think the doctor might be able to help you.
Sirach lost his child.
Awesome.
That's not how that works. Yeah.
I know.
You have a doctor who can fix this face?
I think so. Yeah. What's your name, Mister?
My name is Colin.
Oh, you said it was Colin. That's right. I got surprised because you wanted to just go kill them. That's insane. I'm Jose.
This is what I do. I kill giants.
Wow. Are you here to rescue us?
My friends are. I'm just here to kill giants.
Okay. Where are your friends?
Somewhere in the city. Hopefully you're not killing giants without me.
Okay. Oh, okay, mister. Let's go get you to see the doctor.
Awesome.
And they will take you through like this warren of back alleys, some of which look like they've been built so that you kind of, they're almost only human size, and Nias has to like kind of like really like squeeze through them. And one of them will go, we built these. Well, my parents built these. So we can get around without them seeing us, and we don't get like that all the time. Yeah. So, it's over here and then down in the basement, and he takes you kind of through more of the rubble, and you come into this basement where, on the wall, you see, painted in, like, this kind of garish, like, silver, like, not lame, what is it when you, like, a silver, like, paint?
Yeah.
A sword with a red rose behind it. And
I recognize this symbol. It's from my favorite play ever.
And there is, as you come down, there are a number of wounded people, all being treated by this one gnome. And he's just kind of going back and forth between them and going, damn it, I need some more water over here. You, come over here and give me some of that fire lily. I need to put it on his wound. And one of the kids comes up and like pulls on him, and he goes, what is it, Hosea? Oh.
Hello there, tiny little gnome. I know I maybe look very scary, but do not fear. I actually know a friend. She is my commander, and she too is a gnome.
Okay, good to... Why don't you have a seat, and I'll get to you in a second. What's your name?
My name is Cobb Thatcher.
Cobb Hatcher. Okay, Cobb, just sit over there, and we'll get to you in a second. And
okay.
He does a little bit more work on this one person who looks like they've been freshly wounded in like some sort of combat, and then he comes over to you and he goes, oh yeah, looks like they put the old eye banger on you, huh? Boop. And it goes away.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. I'm Daniel. Nice to meet you.
I'm Colin, and he points over to the giant griffin that apparently I feel like it's Witcher physics. He just pops in.
He just shows up. Yeah, he's like, nice to meet you and your large flying horse. What are you doing here?
I'm here to kill giants. It's my job.
All by your little lonesome, huh? You and your flying horse are gonna... kill a bunch of giants.
There's a knight.
Yeah.
Tall, fat, kind of a prick. Sir Lawrence.
I know a Sir Lawrence. They're not a prick, though. In fact, I used to work for a Sir Lawrence. I was a squire before I decided to take on a different profession.
You mean you're not dead?
No.
I was led to believe all before Filbert were slaughtered horribly.
No, I haven't met Filbert, but I'm pretty sure Felicity is still alive. I'm still alive. At least the last I heard, Felicity's still alive. It's been a long war. But I don't know of any dead squires.
Maybe
Wow.
Sir Lawrence is not completely incompetent.
Maybe we know a different Sir Lawrence.
Always mean.
Nope, not the same person at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there's two Sir Lawrences. I don't know.
Probably.
The one that I travel with is a real numpty.
Wow. They sound terrible. No, the Sir
Yeah.
Lawrence I knew was great. They were kind of warm and friendly, and I mean, they rode you difficultly to just, get you to be a good knight, and it just wasn't for me in the end. That's why I'm going to do this now. My fault for having to stay here, I guess. But
There's nothing wrong with being a doctor, even if you're a gnome.
And on that, because Britt hasn't come back yet, I think that's a perfect place to end for the day, as Colin is back in the milieu and will soon meet the rest of the party, and we certainly don't want to go into anything else without the person from Gorna making their way to meet one of their old acquaintances. So, here is where we will wrap up. Hoping
What
to
did
have...
you mean? Sorry.
What?
Even
Because-
if he's a gnome?
No, what I'm saying is because the world is so big and scary to a gnome, it's okay to be a doctor and not be a knight.
That's not how that works. Okay, it's fine. Let's.
We're gonna have words. They're gonna have Ellie's gonna have words.
Colin is a peasant. He doesn't have a proper education.
Yeah, Ellie's gonna educate you.
Oh, you can.
He only knows how to kill.
All right, team. Thank you all so much for everybody who watched today. We love you so much. We'll be back next week with a full episode of The Liberation of Geoff with this amazing crew of human beings below me who are so good at interpersonal conflict. I love it so much. And it makes my job easy. I love it. And highly creative. You all throw me for enough loops that it makes me very happy as a DM, and I feel excellently challenged. But let's go around and hear from everyone about their thoughts on today, and shout-outs for yourselves for where else we can find you in the world, starting with 4.
Oh, it's me, for I am found on the forefront, and on the forefront, I do RPG stuff, and right now, I am trying to get an Animorphs game going, because it is almost ready to be released, but kind of not really, because it needs more playtesting. It's a Blades in the Dark hack, if you'd like to think about what it's like. And on Mondays, earlier in the morning, I run Mouse Guard on Encounter Roleplay. Fantastic RPG.
I
And
love Mouse Guard. It's one of my
I'm
favorites.
so upset that I don't run as much Mouse Guard as I used to. I need to fix that. And what else? Sundays, I do a D&D 4th edition campaign, all about World War I in a fantasy setting. It's been difficult to get that going because there are a lot of players in that one, and everybody...
It's my fault. Last week was my fault. I'm sorry. Yesterday was my fault. We had our charity stream, and then my power went out, by the way, so I couldn't have made it anyways.
Oh.
I totally forgot about last night. I forgot. I'm sorry.
I didn't. I'm like, I want to play my dwarf.
Humbug. It's great. We postponed your dragon death because we were about to fight a white dragon, or silver dragon, sorry.
Yeah, it'll be terrible.
And that's me. I'm a mister, and I'm proud of it, and I look beautiful. It's time for someone else.
Yay, Abby.
Oh my goodness, it's me. Yeah, I love this game. This game is hilarious. I feel like as a group, we're like slowly meshing and becoming a cohesive unit. I'm It's cool.
No super team was a team right off the bat. Look at JLA. Batman versus Superman, that happened multiple times.
I'm not going to argue with that, but there are a couple of arguments that I could make, but it's whatever. My name is Abby. You can find me at Abigator Frenzy on the Twitters. I do stuff on the interwebs sometime. Sometimes I do like a talk show / podcast called Queers and Quagoffs with 4, where we talk about awesome 5e monsters in the monster manual and how to make them cool and how to put them in your RPGs as a player or as a DM, and also about the super cool LGBTQ lines that you can put into your storylines, because everything just needs to be more queer in general. That's what we think. So yeah, is that all?
Yeah,
I think that's it.
I feel like
Sweet.
it is.
Zippy.
Wait, go.
Go for it, Abby. Swing it in. Tag it on. Go.
I'm working on a one shot of not Mouse Guard but Moose Guard. It's happening. It's gonna happen. I promise myself. It's gonna happen.
Like,
so eventually that will be a thing.
It's like Honey Heist, but with mooses.
Yeah.
I feel like their scent barrier would be way more stinky.
I feel like there would just be like skunk cannons, just lying.
They, whoever they're fighting, they scare up a tree and they sit there for days.
Yay!
It's gonna be amazing.
But yeah, my name's Zippy Zippo. I'm gaming.exp on the Twitter. Thinking about changing that. I don't know. I do Liberation of Geoff here every Monday. I do Mordenkainen's Path to the Plains every Wednesday, where poor Shallot Witherfields gave his life to put a giant exploding spaceship into this Spelljammer ship. And we will be rejoining the party with our new character, Oberyn Glitleaf, this Wednesday. And I'm on Encounter Roleplay every Sunday for their Young Heroes of Fate as Riley Rorick and the Guardian Ogthalic.
Sweet. Shauna.
Hey, Shauna. Flanks for us on Twitter. You can catch me on Encounter Roleplay at 5 o'clock for the Achtung Cthulhu, which is a playtest of the 2D20 system as we fight Nazis and the Cthulhu mythos in the beginning of World War II, where I am one half of the Price Sisters. And on Saturday on Power Square RPG on 6:30, I'm in Hell's Rebels, where I play a disaster of a glamour bard. And this next week should be interesting because it's a masquerade. The party's gonna have to get dressed up and impress some nobles. So I'm very happy.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I am Sean, also known as Throck, your DM for the evening. You can find me, of course, here on Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. doing this. And then on Wednesdays, you can find me in Welcome Party RPG, where I run a Vampire 5e game, one of 3 games in our Vampire 1943 Noir Chronicle that is about halfway through at this point and running towards a very exciting conclusion. Friday nights, you can find us doing D&D 5e kind of classic, just straight up D&D 5e Dragon Dark Days, which is transitioning into a Tomb of Annihilation campaign for its next arc. And then Sundays, you can find me in 2 different places because I don't have enough to do with my life. I run at 1 p.m. Eastern. I run a Warhammer Fantasy campaign on Welcome Party RPG, and then at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm on 4's World War I 4th edition game, because it's awesome, and I want it to happen again, and it was my fault last week, and I feel bad about it. But other than that, we love you, and we will see you again next week for the next exciting episode of Liberation of Geoff. We're going to go raid my dear friends at my channel, because I'm in charge and I can do that, where they're playing some superhero role-playing tonight. So go, say hi, show a little love, and we will see you next week. Everybody say bye. This is how I know we can leave.
Bye, you guys.
Hey, you guys. Oh, there it is. Okay. Now we can raid.
Colin,
And-
you had